can you use your irritation for actively spotting future trends? That's what this model is all about. I'll give you an example before I actually go through the model. But using your irritation, that's a way forward if you want to create something in the world. For instance, the remote control, of course that came about because some person was really irritated that they had to walk to the TV in order to change the channel. The example you're watching right here is from hospitals. I was wondering, when I was growing up, I was 7 years old, I was in hospital for 2 months. My parents, they came, I think 10 or 15 minutes a week, which I think is really traumatizing and was so sad when I was lying there in hospital. And I spoke to a nurse about it not long ago. And he said to me, well, Lisa, that was quite normal back then. We hated that parents visited their kids because they got so frustrated and hysterical afterwards. And then we had to spend a lot of time comforting in them. So actually we told the parents to stay away in order for us to look after our professional work. So what you see on this page is a professional nurse taking care of this little baby. Well, what happened then was this huge source of irritation at hospitals in the 70s because a lot of foreigners came to Denmark at that point in time. And especially the Turkish families, they didn't want to leave their baby behind. And they just refused. The doctors and the nurses complained and they said, well, if my baby's ill and is in hospital, I'm going to stay right here until he or she gets better. And they got really irritated and then they asked for some people to research into this. And obviously they then found out that the Turkish families were completely right. They were the right ones, not the professional staff in hospitals, because these kids actually improved a lot faster than the Danish kids having been left behind by their family. Because apparently it's so important that you have these people with some kind of love, unconditional love around them. That's improving the health process immensely. And of course we all know that today, right? But back then it was not a normal thing. So that I think it's a great example of a kind of social transformation. And it came about because some people got really irritated. Let me run through the model now. So first, use your irritation, and in a situation where you are really like, instead of moving down there in this very angry corner, you should of course say, hey, could I use this for something? Is there a new perspective? Is there a new trend? Is there some kind of reason that I should experience just this? So step one is really try to breathe, try to calm down, try to say, that's interesting, instead of, ugh. And then you say, okay, what could they actually be right about? So for instance, I spoke to this guy at 14. His mother always confiscated his mobile phone at 10 o'clock at night so he could sleep. And he was really, really angry about it. But using this model, he said, yeah, maybe she's actually right. And the trend is that all kids these days are lying with a mobile phone. And I said, yeah, and actually you're sleeping 1 hour less at night than you did before the mobile phone came around, because everybody's using it as a smartphone and then they can't put it aside. And it's actually ruining a good night's sleep. So she might actually be right about something. Hey, maybe we should then be able to turn off any electrical wear at 10 o'clock at night, he said. Maybe some central control shift in the house. Yeah, that could be an interesting innovation. Giving that as a Christmas present to all mothers of this world, or fathers. So that's just to give you an example. So basically using your irritation to get really enlightened, become a little bit creative about what could be useful in this world, addressing this point of irritation. You could be curious about it. So instead of moving down the curve as you usually do, being really judgmental, they are crazy, they are stupid, then trying to move up the curve and you will be a great futurist.